Hello. For my topic of choice in the fundamentalist modernist controversy of the 1920s, I chose the Scopes Monkey trial. Before I would go on, I would like to state why I chose this topic. This is sort of personal to me. I have many family members in the part of the country this trial took place in, deep south, and many of my dad's family members believe in literal interpretation of the Bible. Now it's time for the facts. Many of you might be familiar with this event from popular culture if you've read the modules. So what exactly was this all about? The fact that the scientific consensus regarding the origin of human life conflicted greatly with what Christianity has historically taught created much controversy. On one side of this controversy were the Christian fundamentalists who believed in a literal interpretation of the six-day creation narrative that is described in the book of Genesis. To the fundamentalist, any attempt to say any part of the Bible was not literally true was a slippery slope to abandoning the faith altogether, as depicted in the famous Descent of the Modernists political cartoon published around this time. On the other side of the controversy were modernists who believed that the six-day creation account was more of a metaphor. To try to suppress debate on this topic, the Tennessee state legislature passed a law known as the Butler Act that prohibited the teaching of the theory of evolution in public schools. Almost immediately following the governor's signature on this piece of legislation, the American Civil Liberties Union agreed to pay the fines and fees of any teachers who would agree to get arrested by teaching evolution. The football coach and substitute teacher at Ray County High School, located in the small town of Dayton, John Thomas Scopes, agreed, and what many have retrospectively called the trial of the century began. On one side, representing the state of Tennessee, was the famed Williams Jennings Bryan, three-time presidential nominee and Secretary of State under President Woodrow Wilson, and perhaps the nation's most famous fundamentalist. On the other side of the issue, representing John Scopes of the American Civil Liberties Union, was noted religious skeptic and celebrity attorney Clarence Darrow. The newspaper article I'm using as a source is from the Tomahawk newspaper, which is based out of Earth County, Minnesota, and dated Thursday, July 23rd, 1925. The article makes note of the fact that the judge who was presiding over the trial did not allow the use of scientific testimony in the trial, saying it was not necessary because the witnesses called to the stand represented 6 fields of science. In this way, it was a sort of a show trial, a kangaroo court, where the decision was reached before the trial even started. There was simply no way a judge, who in those days was usually elected and thus had to have the support of the local people in the Bible Belt, would actually allow a law prohibiting the teaching of evolutions in public schools to be overturned, especially not by the efforts of outsiders such as the American Civil Liberties Unions and the heathen Clarence Darrow. Another interesting fact about the trial I found through further browsing was that the verdict was overturned on a technicality, but by this time, due to the negative national exposure it brought to the state, it was pretty much a toothless law.